The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Tsuburaya Productions. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tokucast Reviews, episode number 168. Marcus and Jacob here to discuss the recently finished Ultraman Blazar.
Yes! We're done. We finished it. We're all caught up to all of the modern Ultra.
All the modern Ultras.
Yes.
And we will be going back to do the Showa ones.
Yes. It's going to be a shift.
Hey, coming from this one, yeah.
Yeah, because this was actually, good.
I will not bury the lead. I think this is my new favorite Ultra.
I said this hoping you were going to say that. I was like, I wonder if this is going to beat out, Mebius and X for him. Or Jeed.
I think, yeah. This one beats out Jeed. Jeed was my favorite before this one. I think this one beats it out. I know I've said this before. Yeah, recency bias is a thing, but wow, this one's good.
It's really
good. This one's great.
It's so good. It's so weird to see Hart from Drive come back as a good guy.
It is the same actor playing the lead. Yeah,
he did that in his own show too.
Mm.
But yeah, let's start where we usually do, the opening.
It's good.
It's good. Yeah,
I think the hook at the beginning is really good.
Yeah,
really gets you right from the get it.
It's no set, but yeah, it's good.
It does not have a sustained note that you're just like,
where the quality comes in, where the quality starts.
But I think this opening is quite good.
Yeah. How do we want to do this? Because
that's a good question.
Yeah.
We actually have, characters to talk about.
I know, that's the funniest part. Oh, God.
The long story short is... I wanted to actually start this review with a little bit of behind the scenes.
Okay.
A little bit of behind the scenes that I read.
Okay.
Okay, so what is the series director's name? I believe it was him. Yeah, main director, Kitaka Taguchi. He met with the president of Tsuburaya Productions prior to this show coming out. This is from what I read on Wikipedia, taken from various interviews and whatnot. And the president of Tsuburaya had told him, "We want to do for our next Ultra series. We've tapped you for our main director. What we want to do is we want to do a Ultraman Gaia anniversary season."
Oh, right.
That's what we want to do. We want to do an anniversary season for Gaia. And I feel like if he had said yes,
this would have been not this.
Then this would have been
bad.
Every previous Ultra season we've reviewed for the past goodness knows how many years.
Yeah.
Since after Jeed.
Pretty much.
Where we're having an Ultra, we're relying so much on past Ultras for our forms. There's a lot of form changes. There's a lot of, every Kaiju except for maybe the big bad at the end is a suit we've seen before.
Yeah.
It's like an old Showa suit they dug out of the closet and gave a new coat of paint.
Which happened, I think a total of 3 times in this show.
I think it happens with 3 monsters in total, but over 2 episodes.
Yeah, it does. And one of them was comedy.
And it really just took Taguchi to just go,
no.
Yeah, but what if we didn't do that? It really just took a guy to go, but what if we didn't? What if we didn't do that and instead focused on creating new kaiju? What if we didn't rely on nostalgia bait? What if we didn't have this connected to the other Ultras? What if
this is a new start?
What if this was a real fresh start for Ultraman?
Yeah.
Kind of in the way that Shin Ultraman was. And the way Shin Ultraman was, there are other Ultras that come in, but in the way Shin Ultraman does feel it is the new generation of the first Ultraman. This feels like something that is, in the words of Monty Python, and now for something completely different.
Yeah.
Yes, it is things we have seen before. It's, there's Ultraman, we have a squad of humans fighting Kaiju. There are Kaiju, there's, a lot of things we've seen before. Big fight scenes, big scale, big destruction. But seeing it executed to the level of this quality is not something we've seen before.
And it's so appreciated. Because,
goodness, yes.
My God, it felt like a legitimate, like they said, a fresh start for Ultra. Like, you don't have to have any previous knowledge. And it felt like you needed that for a lot of the past ones. Especially because they upped the maturity of how the story was told a little bit.
I'm so glad you brought that up, yeah.
Because, our captain this time is the actual Ultra. He has a family. We get to see
He's an older guy with, like, big dad energy.
Yeah, that's really what he had. And I really appreciated big dad energy.
Yeah.
BDE.
A different kind.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have a family, so he probably has the other one, too. You never know.
I didn't even say it this time. That's growth. But yeah, it just felt, it was such a good show. I just finished it.
Yes.
It was such a good show. It just had the energy. It's like, oh, this feels like, something a little bit fresh. It felt honestly a lot like Mebius. And like the energy that this show gave off, I felt that from Mebius. A
more mature Mebius, I would say. More mature, also more slimmed down.
Yeah,
because this is 25 episodes, but it doesn't. I don't feel like they sacrifice its characters.
No,
I don't feel like they sacrifice things like humor.
Yeah,
it's still pretty funny.
There's no catchphrase.
There is no, like, they give him a tick. They give him like a little bit of a character tick, but yeah, it's a physical one, and it's a small gesture, like two fingers to the temple. Just let me think, and that's how we're introduced to him. We're introduced to him, and the opening scene of this show is like the Halo jump from Godzilla 2014.
I remember when this first got shown, people were like wilding out with Nick Cannon because they couldn't believe, like, it just looked so cool. Him the team jumping out of that plane.
Yeah,
it was wild, and the silence and everything, and how dark it was, and he turned just slightly, and the monster's on the ground.
And yeah, he's right there, and it's a new monster, and it looks good.
Pretty much every single monster in this show, except for one from Ultra Q, and
which is like the big porcupine guy with the floppy hands,
which I thought was something else.
And then we have what's the rock?
Red King,
and
Gigas,
the
snow one,
the snow ape.
Yeah, Gigas and Red King, which just basically ended up being a comedy episode, but it was based. What was it? Rocky and Muggsy from Looney Tunes. That's pretty much what those two were.
I appreciate that pull. I haven't thought about them in a minute. Hey, thank you.
They really felt like that. They were just...
this is fun, Rocky.
They were just two idiots.
They were just a pair of moron monsters who were just beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
And the fight got taken to a populated area.
Yeah. And I was sitting here like, I feel a little bad for them. They didn't deserve that. They were like, and then they got blown up. And I was just like,
Oh, well.
Sadness.
Oh, man. Serves you right. Anywho.
It was so fun. This whole show just felt fun to watch.
Getting back to the tone a bit, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it felt more mature, because you look at a lot of, not just Ultra, but a lot of past Toku from the Reiwa era leading up to, say, Dawn Brothers and Geats.
King Oger.
Gotchard's kind of gotten away from it a bit from what I've seen, but...
And King Oger. Ooh, King Oger.
Which we'll get to. It's coming up in a few weeks.
How will the effects of the council affect what happened to the treaty? That's basically King Oger. Also, speaking of King Oger, the voice of the AI... The voice of the AI, Earthy, who is voicing Earth Garen...
Yeah.
Is the main bad guy from King Oger.
Oh.
So it's just weird seeing those two
going
together.
back and forth. Yeah. Interesting.
I'm just like,
Good about him for getting the work, yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it just a little bit, but it's just like odd. Like you're out here being, major cosmic horror, and in this show you're fighting major cosmic horror.
He's fighting major cosmic horror as the AI on board of a ship. But I liked his inclusion.
Yeah, I did too.
Gave more personality to the big old Mecha Godzilla.
It felt like they fixed what went wrong with Decker.
Getting back to what I was saying about the tone, yeah, for Fast Ultra, they can feel a little too kiddie sometimes.
Yeah.
A little too, like, kid-centric. Yeah, I understand. It's like, yes, it is a show that is aimed at a younger audience, but...
Smadu.
That's what I was getting at. There's none of that in this show.
It's funny because the writers of that show hated that show.
There's no there is no like cutesy kid friendliness to it. It's still a show that kids can enjoy.
Yeah.
But it's just good.
Yeah.
It's well written with like well thought out characters, and we're not just going to rely on like a single catchphrase to try and carry our whole character.
It really felt like they spoke. This feels like a show, like you said, but this feels like a show a lot for the parents. Especially because the main character is a parent. So you're just really following his journey and dealing with this kid, and end up having one of my favorite episodes, the one with the small monster. Mama
Kaiju and Baby Kaiju.
So good. Not my favorite episode of the show, but it was still so damn good.
One of the things I love about the show is the way the Kaiju are portrayed, not as... It is a threat that humanity has been dealing with for a long time.
Yeah.
Because the GGF, I believe, is what they are in this. Is like the whole organization. Yeah, the GGF, the Global Guardian Force, and then we have SCARD, which is our team within that.
Yeah, basically Special Forces. Basically.
So the GGF was, like, as the wiki states, they were founded in 1966. Kaiju have been a present threat on Earth for decades now. It's just something that we deal with. Yeah. The first character we're introduced to is that rookie on his first mission during the big Halo jump.
Yeah.
And then like we slowly we are revealed to our character. You know, that's how we're introduced to him with that pose, you know, thinking it's like whenever he does that, mission's going to be fine.
The one little homage they put in to make sure they put this thing as a start, 1966. Because it's going to be that first Ultra.
Yes. It's not set in the 60s, but it's, it's set in modern day.
It's also not set in that universe. It's just that's the day that everything happened.
Yeah. Which I am 100% okay with.
Yeah. Because Ultra just loves to jump universes. That's pretty much their whole thing. But I'm so
glad they got away from it in this one. I'm getting so tired of it.
I appreciate it because it lets us get things like this where everything is separate.
Yes, I agree, but I'm getting tired of the whole multiverse thing.
Well, Ultra's always done that.
I know, but it's still annoying. It's like, can't we just have this is basically what I've been asking for a while can we have an Ultra who just stands on his own? Without having to constantly have someone else from another universe jump in and be like, hey, I fought this before.
It's not so much that. It's sort of like how, Tiga was in its own universe, but Ultraman showed up because he went through the wormhole. And that's pretty much what this is, except they just don't interact with any other Ultras at all. Mm-hmm. Zero doesn't show up.
But I enjoy Zero as a character, but I was grateful.
We don't need him again after that. At least not for a little bit. He'll show up again, obviously. Also, it feels like we took Laito's character from Jeed and just made him the main character this time. And made him the captain.
He's less of a goof.
Yeah.
He's less of an accident-prone schlub than Laito
Lovable,
was.
Though.
I love Laito so much. And I do love Gento as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like they took him, but they made him more competent. But they're not. But again, they're not. They can still make him really funny.
Yeah.
They give him some really good comedy moments. One of my favorites is it's when it's I think in like the early teen episodes where what is the character's name? Forgive me. Emmy, where Emmy is going off and doing her investigating.
Yeah.
There's a moment where she leaves the SCARD office and the camera just stays put on Gento's face while like a conversation is happening behind him. And they're talking, and they mentioned it's like, oh, they brought some fluffy potatoes in. Let me get one. And then, oh, there's one left. And then Gento, not even breaking his gaze from like staring off in the distance, his eyes following Emmy as she leaves, just goes, I call dibs. Completely, like his expression doesn't change. He doesn't turn to get into the conversation. He just speaks up, nope, dibs, that's mine. I call that potato.
They've done, especially because I've noticed a lot of things like camera work in this too, because they'll do really weird
We need to bring that up too.
It feels like they took good parts from other ones. Usually when they do like other camera angles and like Dutch angles and things of that nature, I honestly always end up thinking of Max because of that one episode that was just freaky as hell. The butterflies. The hell was that? But it's such a weird episode, but I got that feeling a couple of times throughout this. Mm-hmm. Just some of the more weird episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
To get back to an earlier point, forgive me if I didn't finish it. We got there's a lot going on. But the Kaiju.
Yeah.
They are portrayed as a part of nature.
Yes.
in many cases, they are just like things that have existed on the planet for decades. We're learning about them, fending them off when need be. And in some cases, they are viewed as gods by some.
Yeah.
By some. And I like that a lot. I like that it's not just like, they're not snarling monsters. They're not that are like bent on destruction.
Yeah.
Only bent on destruction. Because there's plenty of kaiju, like you just finished watching the last episode, where the kaiju come to the rescue at the end because there is something about like a balance that must be maintained. And that's what GGF is there. It's there to maintain the balance when a kaiju ventures into human territory and starts wrecking shop there. But for the most part, there are plenty of kaiju who are just like the baby and the mom that are just going to go live in the mountains and do whatever they, just live their lives. They're not going to hurt anybody.
Basically, solidifying the kid is just like one of the best characters in the show because of that episode. That episode was great. But you also end up getting things like, they're here really to protect the balance.
Mm-hmm.
That's their whole thing. It's a very ecological like story.
Circle of life.
Yeah, circle of life, and protect the planet. But it's not preaching it to you. It's sort
there
of
is never a moment where the characters turn to camera and be like, "We must do our part to stop the pollution and the douchen and everything is bad."
There was no Captain Planet moment.
There's no Captain Planet moment. That's a good way to put it.
But it's just like you end up having something like Taganular, who they end up like, they fired off this beam at some point in an earlier episode. Yeah. It did that on purpose.
It's trying to keep something away from Earth.
Yeah.
Because there's a kaiju, some sort of unidentified object coming towards us. Probably a bad thing. And these things are trying to defend it. So it's like, no, don't attack them. Let them drain the energy. Let them shoot the beam off.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that we never see in Ultraman. At least something I certainly never remember seeing. And that's our organization, Scarred in this case, getting taken to task by their commanding officer for not being able to kill any kaiju.
Yeah, letting Blazar do everything.
And letting Blazar do it. There are multiple scenes where our heroes are standing in the office. They have to stand at attention while the one who, put the task force together, that general guy, is just putting him through the ringer. It's like, you guys suck. What the hell was that? You disobeyed a direct order.
Suck
less. Watch a badge on my desk in the morning. It's like that kind of a suck less. It's a lot of that.
Yeah, I also love some of the episodes where they really enough. It's like after you spend so much time with the team, it's good to have something that deals with other people.
There's a few of those episodes, yeah.
My favorite one is the insurance salesman.
The insurance sales. There is a moment in that episode that nearly made me cry. And that is the moment where he's just been, taken to task at work. He's just been put through the grinder because his sales numbers are low. He likes to go door to door,
not make phone
calls or emails because he's not good at that kind of thing. So he likes to go door to door, be more personable.
Yeah. But
he hasn't made a single sale this month. And first off, I want to bring up kaiju insurance is a thing in this world, and I love that. Movie, that episode opens with a commercial for kaiju insurance, and I'm like, I am 1,000% here.
In retrospect,
this is great.
This makes all of the sense.
Yes,
because you need that.
but then we see him get home after work, and he just he hasn't really changed out of his clothes, and he just collapses onto his bed.
Well, he was going to eat something that he got from the Combini, and they didn't give him any chopsticks, so he just that just ended him.
But then he just collapses onto his bed. He pulls out his phone. He scrolls through social media a bit and sees young people having fun and a pop star or whatever.
And people at his job.
People at his job doing well. And he just kind of closes his phone and hugs and kind of hugs his chest. And it's he is so lonely and so sad right now. I just want to give this man a hug. You poor man.
That episode is so good.
And then he winds up developing a friendship with an older lady who lives alone. He winds up she winds up burning her food because he was keeping her at the door doing a sales pitch, and he helps her out around the house by cleaning up, changing lights, doing things that she can't do anymore. Big kaiju attacks, and we see the two of them running away with him carrying her piggyback style to get away from the kaiju.
You see Blazar. No, you see Captain Gento because this episode doesn't deal with Scarred as much. They're still around. But he sees them like running throughout the city, and then he transforms into Blazar to help them get to safety.
Yep.
It's such a good... It reminds you, like... Of course, my favorite episode of X is the interview episode.
That was such a good episode.
So I just like it when other people sort of end up taking center stage for an episode. I think that really ends up helping just expand the world a little bit and just add a little bit of breath.
It's some good world building. It's good at showing you there are more people in this world besides our heroes, but it doesn't feel like filler.
No,
because they're still there. This is still like a part of the job they have to deal with. It still has exciting action, and we're drawn narratively into it because we care about these two people. We want to see them survive.
Yeah, it's just good.
It's good.
It's really good.
I want to bring up the camera work.
Yeah,
they do such a good job of utilizing close-ups. More than any other Ultraman I've ever seen. They do an amazing job of giving you a sense of scale and giving you a sense of weight and everything, even while keeping the camera tight on the action.
Yeah.
And I think that deserves to be celebrated because it's the first episode with Deathlander, the flying kaiju that can fly super fast. Mach 9.
Yeah, Mach 9.
9 times the speed of sound.
Yeah.
And so Blazar is fighting this thing. It's at night. You'd think it would be... Well, I mean, they're not actually flying around at night.
I know, but night filming is always expensive. Thanks, Ocular Ranger.
Well, you do have to make the set and everything look as such, but... I don't know if they used the volume set for this show. I couldn't find anything saying that they did, but I would believe it if it was true. I think they may have. But in this scene, because it's like they're keeping the camera really focused. Like it's like a tight medium shot on Blazar and Deathlander as they're fighting. And it's at night, but you still get such a good sense of movement.
Yeah.
Because they have clouds in the background.
Yeah.
They have cloud, like it's a cloudy night, and there's just enough there that like you can see the clouds like whipping and zooming around them as they're flying through the air, and you get a great sense of speed. There is an amazing shot that happens. I forget specifically which episode it is, but there is an episode where a kaiju is in the city just wreaking havoc, and they have the suit actor in front of like a practical miniature bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And the camera is just slowly dollying back over the bridge. And you see like all the cars, there's like destroyed buildings around it. And the kaiju is, stomping around in the foreground as it's getting further and further away. And then the shot ends and there's like a truck that's like precariously positioned about to fall off over the edge of the bridge. And you hear voiceover saying like, "Help me, my truck."
Well, the guy's outside of the truck. He's like leaning outside of the window.
I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, you like hear him and seeing Blazar like grab that truck, pick it up, put it down, and the truck drives away, and he's like, "Thank you." That was such a great moment.
Another one of my favorites.
So good.
Like, in the vein of that, it's like because I love when they do office scenes or like office shots with the monsters outside the window. They did this in a Guy and Tokucast crossover too. Mm. But you have the workers in the office like running and like the monsters following them, so the camera's following them, and then they run towards the camera. It's so wild. I love things like this. Speaking of just like other weird things that this show does, Blazar at the beginning with like the body torsions and like spinning and all of that. So weird.
To hit a monster that's flying away, because Ultraman's weapon for the most part of the series is a
light spear,
just like a spear of like concentrated light energy that he uses, and in order to throw it, instead of like doing like an Olympian like javelin toss, he contorts his body by like spinning his torso like around like
a spring,
like 540 degrees, curling it like a spring, whips himself back around, throws the spear, and that's what gives him the extra boost. He also uses it like a fishing rod at one point to catch a kaiju who is swimming, and that was great.
He also does like a back bend and then throws it really. It's like just like this show. Is wild.
There is one moment. I'm pretty sure I didn't hallucinate this where a monster like hits him and he does like a full bridge.
Yeah.
He punches he punches Ultraman and like Ultraman gets knocked back, but instead of like falling over, he does like a full bridge and like rights himself up, which props to the suit actor. That is a physically demanding thing to do.
I sort of want to say talking about Blazar himself or themselves as a character.
The actual Ultra.
Yeah, the actual Ultra. Until the very end. Because this is a very different Ultra from every other one that we've seen so far.
He doesn't talk.
He's a caveman. Like
he's something of a primal Ultra.
Yeah, he has like, or rituals and everything that he does before he fights.
Because I mean, like he has consciousness. He has like the ability to think. He can problem solve.
But he doesn't speak until the last episode.
He doesn't speak until the last episode. Did it give you Iron Giant vibes?
A little bit.
Because it gave me Iron Giant vibes. His first words are, "I'll go. You stay, I go, no following." But it's like, like we'll go together is what he means.
Like, yay!
And yay. The only thing about the show that I would give it a ding for is Ultraman's vocal effects.
Oh, I love it though.
You did?
Yeah. Because it felt a little off, which makes sense. As you can see, until he doesn't even get like the L beam until the end.
The final like attack of the show.
Yeah, attack of the show.
Yeah, remember that.
G4 RP.
I don't miss it. I miss things about it.
Anyway,
like Last Exile on TV, that was fun.
But yeah, just like he does not get his Ultra Beam until
the L shot,
very last thing.
His son is watching TV, watching the fight unfold on TV with the final big bad, and
earlier in the show, he gave him a bracelet.
He made a bracelet at school, and which is adorable when he wears it out on the mission. And it's like his feelings reach his father. He's like, "Ultraman, you can do it." He does not know Ultraman is his father.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. No, his secret is never learned. But like it's like the feelings reach him. The bracelet glows, and like that feeling, it's the power of love, and that's what gives him the extra energy to use the L shot, and it is the dopest L beam I have ever seen. It is so long and so powerful, and it just decimates this kaiju that has been wrecking our heroes for the past couple episodes.
Portion of the moon until until Blazar put it back into orbit.
Mm-hmm.
I also love it's just like there's also the theme of kindness, and I'm sort of bridging from that L shot to this because of the V99 and these aliens from space and everything, and the fact that they originally blew up one of them back in 1999, and turns out that one was basically just like an exploratory craft. It had no weapons on it.
Yeah.
And at this
point,
it's like
show, I was not expecting it to turn into like a Jack Ryan thriller. At one point, at a few points throughout this, there is like it's like a conspiracy thriller at times.
Yes,
and I love that
with the old man. I believe was in the original Ultra.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Man's like 81, so yeah.
But yeah, I like that character a lot. But sorry, were you?
Oh no.
Nothing else?
No, it's just like with that, it's
theme of kindness. Kindness.
Be kind to people. Like, don't just assume the worst from these people who are, coming, I guess in this case, to your world, like, even to your country in some cases. Like, they're there just to extend a hand or come and help.
Or just looking to see what's going on.
Yeah, it's sometimes just better to put down the arms. That's really what that last
literally what happens in the show.
Yeah.
When Earth Garon and Ultraman literally drop their weapons, Ultraman depowers from his powered up form, and just let the final monster start wailing on them. And meanwhile, Emi is in the command center telling both the Japanese and the U.S. governments, do not shoot at the V99, do not shoot at that fleet. And Earthy send them this message. Just say Mirai. Yeah. Future. Just keep saying that. And he does that. They have a response. It's the same thing. They repeat it back, and then they leave.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, they're gone. Now we're free to beat up this guy because this is just a big old bad monster.
Yeah. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Caveman Ultra. I love when he first gets his sword And he's like, oh.
I agree.
And then he's like jumping around with it and everything. It's just like, oh, this is how a child or somebody with not love.
He's got a new toy.
Yeah, he has a new toy. This is a caveman with a new toy. He just discovered fire. So it was just good to see something like that. This is why I think I appreciated this one so much more. You never got, oh, we're going to go ahead and go inside the Ultra's head and have the person speaking, because that's not what this one was about. This is just about...
Almost every time we're inside watching Gento pilot Blazar, we're seeing things from his perspective.
Yeah.
It's just no dialogue, just his point of view, looking at his hands.
Thank God.
Got the henshin device here and just like put this in, do this, a little bit of that, and then we're just like outside, we're looking at Blazar, and Blazar's, yelling up a storm and landing epic drop kicks on people and whatnot, or whatever it is the scene calls for him to do.
Yeah, I wish they had like a couple more instances of some of the powers that he had, like in the one with the monster mother and the child. That scream that he lets out to get rid of
where he turns into Black Canary and destroys all the missiles.
It was so cool.
It was dope.
Because like half the time, Blazar and Gento don't really communicate as much.
Because they communicate non-verbally.
Yeah.
At one point, Gento is like being run ragged due to exhaustion, and to help him get some rest,
he punches himself in the face.
Ultraman, because he's holding like the little like coin that he uses to transform, which sometimes like will like move or like
light up,
give him some sort of signal, like, but they're still communicating. Like they understand each other, but it's non-verbal.
Yeah.
And his fist just kind of clenches around it and just. And he punches himself unconscious.
Yeah, because Blazar took over his arm, just like Gento has.
You're gonna get some rest.
Yeah, just like Gento has specifically taken over, portions of Blazar.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been. It was really fun.
It is like Pacific Rim. They're drift compatible.
Yeah, it was great.
One cannot fully operate without the other.
Let's talk about the characters here.
Yeah, sure.
Because this show is just good. We really don't have a lot of bad things to say. I really don't.
Me neither. Gento, we've talked about him a lot already. He's a great protagonist. He's exactly what I've been looking for a protagonist from Ultra for a long time.
The first captain to be an Ultra, and man, is it a good thing.
A maturity, a sense of humor, like I said earlier, just big dad energy.
Yeah.
He is the team dad. He's a good father. He's a good husband. He's someone that you like watching, and the actor does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And he's well written.
Emmy, a lot of this show ends up dealing with her and her dad, because he was apparently in the first episode when Ultraman pretty much came through
the wormhole.
Yeah, her dad, I guess, ended up getting taken into that wormhole.
The ship that was shot down in the 90s, that ship, her dad was researching it, open to seeing what could be done with it, applying technology to the GGF. Like, that's how they explain, the tech from that ship, that's how we got Earth-Garon. That's how, all the tech that we have now came from this. A little bit of Independence Day stuff there, where they're, trying to derive, modern technology from the ship that has crashed. And, Emmy, her, conspiracy thriller plot is really good. Yu Dobashi is the antagonist on her side of the story.
Yeah.
Just the way that character is introduced and her confrontation, in the gym.
Yeah.
Is great. Where he's just, working out. He's like, my age, you got to work out every day. Keeps your stamina up. I need to, in order to keep up with what's going on.
He came off as real slimy, real fast. And I appreciated that. It gave us, we have a clear villain. Just
like scumbag higher up in, a secret organization. Yeah. Who's like, I will do whatever is... The kind of person who was like, I will push the button and kill... I will wipe this town off the map if it means saving the rest of the world. Yeah. I will not look for any alternative solutions.
But she's a great character.
She's a very good character. Really she's also really funny.
Yeah.
I love her relationship with Gento. It's just a great friendship. It's just great friendship.
Yeah.
It really is.
Their first scene together is still probably one of my favorites in this show. But yeah, she's the information technology. She does a lot of spy work.
Mm-hmm. The undercover episode where it's her undercover at the the big corporation where she's working as the secretary.
Yeah,
and they have meetings at an aquarium in secret. I love just like the locations that we visit in the show alone are like really nice, and it's all so well photographed.
Just as a side thing, going back to Gento really quickly, because there was another one of my, I really like a lot of episodes in this show, but it was also good seeing the Snake Orphanok from Fies come back as the samurai monster. Alien. He was a ghost the entire time, and the only thing that was really keeping him there was, he had a duty to send monsters, spirits, basically, to the underworld.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked him, and it was just like, oh, it's the Snake Orphanok, because I will always remember him as that character. But I just love how it's so clearly him. I just love him as an actor. He shows up every once in a while just in a toku. And I know because Fi is the 20th anniversary thing.
Now, this is the episode that ends in the cafe where he passes away.
Yeah.
And the old lady comes back with their coffee. And it's like, oh, where'd it go? And Gento's just kind of smiles. He's like, don't worry, I'll take his. Just that ending was just 10 out of 10. That was such a good episode.
So good.
Moving on, Yasunobu. If this were Cinema Wins, I would say Yasunobu's workout routine.
This man.
Because this man is...
And the lady who plays Henri are both jacked. They are so stacked. Jesus Christ. There's... And I love how he plays like he's the tech guy. He's the tech, like, sort of timid guy. But the one episode he has to take his shirt off during that whole laundry episode.
Yeah, because he's been... There's an alien, conspiracy thing where, like, these aliens are using machines as a way to, like, stockpile negative energy and do bad things with it.
Yeah.
He's been, whenever he does his laundry, he, like, dumps his negative emotions, like, into the laundry machine, essentially. Yeah. The alien shows up and, like, shoots him with something. And to get it off, like, he takes his clothes off, like, strips down to his, he's just wearing his pants.
Yeah.
And not his underpants, but like his trousers, if you will, if you come from outside of America. But like, yeah, when he takes his shirt off, there was a moment where I was like, oh, I did not know you were this ripped.
Dude is...
He's built.
He's so swole.
An absolute unit.
The man, like, he can touch a wall and it disintegrates.
Yeah, but that was a good episode for him. I like his character a lot.
I do too.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Henri. I liked Henri.
I like Henri a lot too.
I think she got, in all honesty, a little bit of the least in the show proper, but she was still a fun character. She still added enough to the team.
Her big episode was the one with her childhood friend who was trying to persuade her from doing a weapons test because that would anger the local god, which they do, and it winds up creating Blastoise.
It is Blastoise.
It's Blastoise with lasers on his back instead of water cannons. Whoops.
Oh.
But I love her relationship with Emmy. They just have a great like sister dynamic, good friendship dynamic again.
Only thing I really wish they did more in this show. Just more on the ground fights, especially because of her. She's very hand to hand.
Yeah, she's a lot of hand to hand stuff. She pilots Garon.
Yeah, I really wish it would have just had at least one episode with basically just her just going in. that would have been peak. Yeah. Especially with Emmy being the sniper.
They do kind of give that to Emmy though in the aforementioned episode with the CEO, where they get taken hostage and taken to the underground sector, and Emmy just starts kicking the bodyguards. She does. And just starts throwing them around like rag dolls.
She's so good.
Mm-hmm.
They gave her.
They underestimated her.
Yeah. Teraraki, his biggest one is with his brother and his dad.
Yeah.
And the bug monsters.
Mm-hmm. I liked him.
Yeah, I did too. He was a little neurotic. For
the way we're introduced to him, and he's like very stiff, very formal. Because we learned that he comes from a family of farmers.
Yeah,
it's a family of farmers. So he was like raised in the country, raised with like classical good manners, I guess you could say. And that kind of carries over into this, and over time we see him loosen up. But I do really like the relationship that he has with his parents.
Yeah,
was specifically like his dad and his brother, the ones who were on screen. And like the last time we see them,
we hear from his dad because apparently his dad has to go for some test.
He has to go for some sort of a medical test, and I just love that conversation. I just love it. Just like it's like at night, he's they're about to like close up for the night. They're prepping for the big battle that's coming up
on the moon.
And he's like, "Hey, Dad, did you go in for that test yet? Hey, just checking in on you. All right, love you. Be safe out there, okay?" And it's just such a nice moment.
And basically, when Gento ends up having to become Ultraman Blazar, possibly die.
Yeah. He gives him I give you total command.
Yeah.
I have control.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, the man has such a good arc from just being that really neurotic, sort of anal retentive person at the beginning to where he is at the end to just show that he can, be a leader. This show is so good. It felt like it almost made me want to watch Mebius again because I really enjoy the energy from both of these shows.
Yes. Mebius is also great. But I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Go watch Blazar.
Yeah, watch Blazar.
You don't need anything else.
It's fantastic.
I think that's the biggest plus for it. You don't need any other shows. There's no build up, or there's no
no homework.
Yeah, there's no 0 to G to Z to. It's just itself, and that is such a good.
I hope they keep this trend up moving forward.
Yeah, we don't know what. Well, I think we do know what's coming next.
What is it?
I think it's another Ultra Galaxy fight, but after that, who knows what the next series is going to be? Probably won't find out until about June.
We shall see.
Yeah.
But join us next week for our first impressions of Garo, Heir to the Steel Armor.
Yeah. It's been such a ride with this show. It's very different, and I really appreciate that.
Different in a lot of ways, which we will get to. We will be discussing the first 4 episodes of that next week.
Yeah.
And after that...
What is our next review?
That is a good question.
We have so many things.
After that, we are doing Kikaider 01.
We are doing Kikaider 01. It's going to be a little bit before we get to Dynaman. I've been watching Dynaman.
Yeah. So the next couple of reviews we have Kikaider 01, then we are doing the Dawn Brothers movies.
Yeah.
We're doing a triple feature of Dawn Brothers versus Dawnberries, New First Love Hero, and versus Zenkaiger, and then Osama Sentai King Oger.
And we do have one more Kamen Rider thing coming up.
It's coming up.
Down the pipeline, because we are going to do Kamen Rider Outsiders. So we'll be doing that eventually, too.
There you have it, folks.
I'm so excited to get King Oger. We're so close. We're so fucking close.
I'm excited as well.
But yeah, next is Kaider 01, so we'll see.
Join us as we travel back in time.
1, 2, 3. Hopefully there's none of that. But yeah.
We shall see.
Don't forget to join us on all the things. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching.